Oh boy. Hey guys, it's me again doing another vlog as of tomorrow, 5 weeks out. There's a lot of new people on the channel, getting a lot of activity this past week, which is great. So yeah, for those that don't know, I'm Jacob McBride, the Iron Rook, pro strongman at 90 kilos, who for the past 17 months has been bodybuilding. No, 14 months, 15. I did Worlds for Strongman in 2024, and after Worlds was over, I switched to bodybuilding. I did still do some competition with Strongman and actually with powerlifting. I competed in Alabama at EFI Limit Breaker. I did the Extinct Games in Singapore just as recently as November as a super heavyweight. But the primary focus in training and in eating and everything was bodybuilding from the day after Worlds 2024, which is in December, until now. And so now I'm 5 weeks out from my first bodybuilding show, 7 weeks out from my second bodybuilding show. In my vlog last week, I said that the Ninja Creamy protein ice cream, well, it's an ice cream maker, but I've been using it to make protein ice cream, is making this really easy, that I'm not having any cravings, that it's delicious and all that stuff. And my body, I guess, was personally offended by this, because that was Friday I was saying that. And the cravings are still great. The protein ice cream, like, it still tastes amazing. I love it. But the harsher symptoms of essentially starvation, malnourishment, kicked in the very next day. So from Saturday through Tuesday was really, really, really rough for me. Energy was below zero. I had a lot of brain fog. Like, even just standing or walking, not even upstairs or up a hill, like just walking or just standing still, was very uncomfortable at all time of day. Training energy was obviously very low. Mood swings were really bad, and the mood swings, they're only really negative. It doesn't really swing you to like a manic phase, but it was getting bad. I even now, I mean, pretty much the whole prep, this last 15 weeks going into the show, I get these bursts of just random causeless anxiety. But earlier in the week, from that Saturday to Tuesday, they were really bad. They were really long. They were really intense. And these are the things where it's like I consciously am aware that I have nothing to be anxious about. Like, there's nothing stressing me out. There's no urgency to anything happening. Like, consciously I know these things. I know that things are fine, but there's this unshakable and in some cases really intense feeling of anxiety, and it's given me a whole new respect for people that have chronic anxiety, that have to treat it with medication and stuff, because again, even understanding that there's no reason to feel that way, it is awful. I've only experienced depression once, like actual depression, one time, and that was fucking terrible. So I don't know how people deal with chronic depression. I can't imagine that being more than, like, it lasted maybe a week and a half, and it was absolutely terrible. But now I've had my first experience with, like, chemical anxiety. Like, obviously anyone gets anxious about certain events and stuff like that, and that's normal. The stress response is normal, but getting anxiety just for no reason and not being able to do anything about it and not being able to resolve it through doing something is absolutely terrible. And I always seem to be at work when they happen, which just makes it even worse, because then I'm trying to focus on work, I'm trying to be productive, and I just have this anxiety for no reason, and it really slows things down and disrupts what I'm trying to do. But during this stretch from Saturday to Tuesday, it was really bad. I think the longest burst of anxiety was like 3 or 4 hours long, and there were 2 of them in that. Actually, I think that was a day I had 3 of them. So I told my coach, you know, we were getting ready to do a group workout. I almost backed out of it. I told him, I was like, hey, I'm not really in a good headspace to be training with a group right now. Because, you know, with group training, you know, everyone's like hyping each other up and come on, one more rep, two more reps, you can do it. Like, you know, all that typical gym bro stuff, which when you're fueled, when you have energy, is really motivating and really helpful. But the way I was feeling, and I know this about myself, and I was warning them about this, that kind of stuff on that day was just going to piss me off. Adam and Jake, they kind of talked to me, you know, they had me come around and talked me into continuing with the training. I'm glad I did. It was a great training session. But talking to my coach, talking to Jake about, you know, all the different symptoms I was experiencing, he's like, oh, we need to get you a refeed, like, immediately. So the idea was do the refeed before the next leg day, which was Thursday, yesterday. So the refeed was Wednesday. Yeah, that was awful. I don't really know how to properly, like, I'm describing how it felt. I'm describing what happened for those days. But for anyone that hasn't experienced it, you're not really gonna fully like absorb or like understand what I'm saying unless you've been through something like that before. I will say the hunger was still not as bad as hypoglycemia. For any diabetics that watch, know when you get a really low blood sugar as a diabetic, it's a hunger unlike anything you'll ever experience. Being super depleted, being like, you know, experiencing, you know, signs of starvation, it still wasn't that bad, but the hunger was pretty bad. So yeah, it got the refeed Wednesday. Basically, he added rice to every meal, and in larger quantities than I'm usually eating. So normally I have rice once a day, and it's 60 grams. With this, it was between 100 and 200 per meal. So already the carbs are way up from the rice. And then in the evening, he had me go to In-N-Out and get 2 double doubles and 2 fries. And I absolutely inhaled those. And yeah, the effect, the consequence of that refeed was excellent. The muscles really filled up. Like I was absolutely huge on Wednesday and Thursday, and probably today, but I haven't gone to the gym quite yet. So that was really cool to see, because obviously being hyper depleted, you know, it doesn't give you a good look. Like your muscles kind of drain out, being low carb and stuff. A lot of the glycogen leaves. You're not really restoring it. Plus I'm doing the cardio every day. So you get like this flat look. Like it's almost like, you know, you're starting to look like a POW or something, not like a bodybuilder. But that's what that refeed is for. And it's the same with the show itself. You know, you dry yourself out, you make weight, and then right before you go on stage, and it's going to change competitor to competitor based on timing. And that's one of the things we're figuring out, you know, with this refeed, and one of the things we're going to figure out when we do a practice peak for week 4. You have to figure out, you know, your timing, your like water and carb like ratio balance, you know, whatever, to make sure that you fill the muscles but don't spill over. And spill over is when subcutaneous or like under the skin water starts to restore. So you want water in the muscles to make them look bigger, but if you get too much water, what spillover is it spills over from going into the muscles to going back into the subcutaneous layer, and it's not a good look. But at the same time, not filling the muscles is not a good look. So you got to, it's a balance that you have to strike. And so we're collecting that data on me. So we're going to collect it again in a couple weeks. We're going to collect it again at the show itself, and then 2 weeks later I have another show, and we'll everything we learn about getting my muscles filled with water, getting the muscles full, is just going to improve every time, you know, I step up there. So training last night was fantastic. You know, I finally had energy again, and you know, because it's been a while since I've had energy for training like that, it just felt like unreal. Even though, you know, if you go back a couple months when I was pretty reasonably fed, I had the same energy. It's that contrast that makes it appear more. And yeah, so that's all it is. Glad I'm getting this done. I'm really, my big focus right now, because I've always been somebody that has like a lot of projects going on, a lot of irons in the fire, and I thrive in that environment. That's how I get a lot done. It's how I've gotten to where I've gotten to. You know, I'm not going to go with my life story in this one, but maybe that's another video. I always have a lot of irons in the fire, and what I'm finding with this depleted state, with the cyclic anxiety, with the mood swings, with the brain fog, with the low energy, I'm having a little bit of trouble with the number of things I'm trying to do, and I end up in a sort of like a paralysis by analysis type of situation. And I touched on this last week's vlog, but also I need to, like, again, I had recorded some vlogs and just deleted them. I never posted them because I didn't like them, and there's already things I know I don't like about this one. But especially right now, the problem that I have with, you know, what I always forget what the expression is when I'm live on camera, but I normally know it. But it's something about, you know, good being the enemy of great or whatever. Basically, being a perfectionist and having that actually stop you from doing something. I'm really trying to, not just with the YouTube stuff, not just with like the Instagram, with like brand ambassadorships, with connections and networking, and with my career as an engineer. I'm trying to stop letting the pursuit of perfection stop my output or slow my output. I've had that issue recently, especially because of, you know, the mental state from the depletion, but with like writing procedures at work, and like I freeze up because I might run into a part of the procedure that I'm writing and not really know how I want to word it, and it like locks me up, which is not normal. Like I always have that problem, but it's not normally that bad. And so I've identified, I've reflected on how things have been going and trying to find ways to ease the anxiety and you know, get through some of this stuff and be functional. And I'm realizing that these negative qualities of my personality, with perfection and with multitasking, I guess, or might be because of my ADHD, which I only got diagnosed with a few months ago, but having multiple things going on at once, it's actually really starting to get in my way and slow me down. So one of the things I'm trying to do, you know, this might help somebody that has similar tendencies, but as I've identified that this is becoming a worse problem through the peak, through the depletion, like for this weekend, you know, every time I go into a weekend where I'm not busy, it might not be literally a to-do list, like I might not list things out and make a to-do list, but I always have an idea that's basically a mental to-do list of, hey, these are all the things I'm going to work on or get done this weekend. And I don't always, I never get all of it done, but I usually do pretty good. And I'm noticing, again, through this depletion phase, that's another thing that's locking me up, is if I'm trying to accomplish too much or work on too many things through the weekend, it's actually locking me up to where I'm really not getting anything done. So one of the other interventions I'm trying is to limit the number of things I want to accomplish for the weekend. So I've really only laid out like a few things, and you want to make them, they don't all need to be easy, they don't all need to be quick, but you want to give yourself some easy wins to help build momentum. So like there's a couple YouTube video projects that I'm working on, and you know, there's different shots that need to be taken or set up, and some of them are harder than others. So this weekend, one of the problems I was having with getting that done is I was putting all the shots that need to get done, like just knock some of these out, and then I get to the weekend and be like, oh my god, there's so many of them, like which one am I gonna, and I don't do any of them. So I've only given myself a few easy ones to do this weekend, things that I'm kind of in line with what I'm already doing anyway. I'm just going to set up a tripod and film some stuff. And going back to the, you know, not letting perfection get in the way, I've already accepted, mentally prepared, that I might take these shots and be like, I don't want to use these, and that's okay, but I still need to take them. And if I take a shot, you know, say I'm doing like a day in the life video for a bodybuilder in prep, and I want to record a shot, like a B-roll shot of like meal prep, If I don't like the shot, there's going to be a reason I don't like it. And the reason I don't like it is going to be a learning for when I redo it. And I do meal prep constantly, so it's not like this is my one opportunity to get the shot and it's got to be, perfect. I'm going to take the shot, and I'll probably, even if I like it, maybe I'll take it again and compare the two. And, is the new one better? Is the new one worse? Did I learn something where I could do a third one and combine what I learned from both of them and make that one the best? I don't know. But a lot of these things I just need to do, and I'm setting myself up, recording a little bit of like a 5-second meal prep clip to toss into a video somewhere. It's not hard to do. So I get that done and check it off my mental to-do list, and it helps build momentum. It's a success, especially dealing with, this anxiety and these mood swings or whatever. Those little wins will help, keep me above water, and that sort of thing. So that's where we're at. Depletion sucks. Prep is, I expected the bodybuilding prep to be the hardest thing I've ever done, and it is. But even expecting it to be that hard, it's still harder than I expected. Like it's rough. This is definitely one of the, if not, it might just be. I don't want to be extreme and say right now while I'm in the thick of it, oh yeah, this is the hardest thing I've ever done. Because when you're in it, when you're looking from the inside, from the first person perspective, when you're in the situation, a lot of times it's going to seem a lot harder than it does retrospectively. So I can't say 100% for sure that this is the hardest thing I've ever done, but right now, from my perspective, sitting here talking to you, this seems like the hardest thing I've ever done by far. Way worse than, well, there we go. I'm not going to say it's way worse than the Navy. The Navy sucked. That's a different discussion, different video. But yeah, no, it's really difficult. I'm still going to do these every week. They'll get better and better, hopefully. If you want to see what I'm doing, like, comment, subscribe, do those things for YouTube. I'm still going to do the other types of videos as well, so this will be a weekly thing. If it's not your thing, you can skip it. And if it is, then obviously watch it and interact with it. I find videos like this, I watch a lot of Sam Sulek's videos that are similar in format to this, and I might not be watching it, I might just be listening to it while I drive, while I meal prep, while I eat, whatever. And personally, that's my preference for how to do videos like this, because you don't want to just stare at your phone watching me talk for 17 minutes. But yeah, I'll do another one of these next week and update you on how things are going. Again, tomorrow we are 5 and 7 weeks out. So a week from now we'll be 4 and 6 weeks out. Until then.